I think it's about time that we finally get onto the actual main elevator since the beginning of the game. Hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only Tiana here once again, and I am back for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos once again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Metroid Fusion, or Metroid 4 for the Game Boy Advance. So, last time, I believe we did somehow manage able to explore some sections in Journey Forms of Sector 6, and every once in a while we somehow managed able to finally experience Sector 5, and every once in a while we come across into this particular countdown clock sequence, Journey Forms of, let's just say in Sector 3, to able to actually shut down the forms of one of those, I don't know, the cooling areas as far as I'm aware. Mind you, it's been about 5 days ago since I actually have last experienced this game, so either way though, because chances are that I think I should probably explain more details about that if we somehow manage to continue for this particular recording. So either way, yeah, today for this video is about the fact that we're about to be hitting back onto the forms of the main deck, and as a result, we can now able to do some more things. Like, for instance, if we use the speed booster on this part right there, basically we were able to get ourselves yet another missile tank. So either way, things will be a little bit more relative at that point, especially concerning about the fact that now we can able to do some more things on the main deck, as I mentioned this before. So either way though, let's just go and get to it though, and hopefully we can able to actually reach for that specific destination we need to hit to next. So, but either way though, that might be saying something. So, anyways, let's go in here and, oh, it seems pretty chilly in here. So I suppose we should probably look ahead and, okay, I have no idea what that's going to be about. Is that kind of feels a bit similar to Ridley almost? Well, it may look like one, but either way though, that'll be a discussion for later, because obviously it's no time to waste, so we'll just go ahead and go up, and now we can able to actually go into the next room, thanks to the forms of, you know, one of those level 2 doors that we can now activate, and exponentially we can able to hit up here. And there's also the point about the fact that we can potentially try to able to go after some more items as far as this is concerned. So either way though, first off, let me go ahead and save my game quickly, so just in case I don't want to able to get too much power cuts at this point. But either way though, that might be saying something. So, a few things we want to explain for this point today, in regards to the focus of today's video, is that obviously today's date, of course, is the 16th of May today, in this case in 2023 today, that it seems about the fact that we're now onto the halfway point in terms of May already, before we move on to June. Now, despite the fact that June doesn't exactly bring that much new to the table, well, aside from the fact that with Sonic Origins Plus, but as a result of that kind of stuff though, I think that's as far as I can think about it. So, there's also a couple of games worth noting for as well, being the forms of Front Mission 2 Remake, but either way though, that'll be discussion for a later day. So something tells me those specific critters right there looks very similar to the forms of how it does in since Super Metroid. After all, that we've already saved them, or technically Sonic already saved them by the end of the game of Super Metroid by simply able to, you know, break those certain walls in a self-destruct sequence here and there. So either way though, that was actually a pretty nice addition. They obviously bring those creatures back. So that's actually pretty cute, and regardless of such. So I think something tells me we need to once again use the speed booster in certain spots, because I think something tells me, thanks to that particular little circle right there, that we do need to figure out something. So for instance, we'll boost through here, and, well, straight to the point, we'll activate the actual security door, which, potentially speaking, we can able to get ourselves, what else? Another missile tank. But that doesn't stop there, because I think there was actually a very well hidden alcove you can actually entering into, as you can see, which pretty much leads us to the forms of, what's classified as saying, the continuation portion of the level or something, or potentially speaking, no, it's like an alternative route, so that way we can able to activate something in this particular point. So either way, and there goes the forms of the gate opening sequence, and on top of that with the F-Zero sound effect, as far as this is concerned. So, pretty nice touch, all things considered, like I said before. So, either way though, everything else will be pretty much expected at that point. So, and I'm pretty sure we're actually done here, because, well, all we did is just about the fact that we did somehow rescue those familiar creatures again ever since in Super Metroid, as I mentioned this before, except the fact that we did somehow manage to activate something else entirely. So either way, I was expecting to be able to mention about the forms of the dialogue, but relatively speaking, no, I think that's as far as I can think about it. So anyway, as you probably already know about the fact that during the forms of about a few days ago, as far as what both Mighty and Ray, including Sonic the Hedgehog, all three of those characters, or specifically those three guys, managed to already mention about this ever since in, you know, Donkey Kong Country Returns, alongside with the forms of Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2. Basically, we've been busy for the past few days, specifically for playing The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So as a result, that I'm still, you know, happy about the fact that that game finally came out for about 4 days ago now. So either way though, I'm not exactly sure how the sales records are going to turn out, but either way, I think we'll probably be able to find out more about it until when it gets to the point into on August, because as I mentioned this before, the next financial results is going to take place in during summer. So I think that's as far as I can think about it. So anyway, so now we've actually done with that particular point, and I think we need to do the next thing we need to do. And that is about the fact that, well, relatively speaking, despite the fact that I haven't exactly, you know, gone back into this game for quite some time, especially because concerning that I'm pretty sure that both Mighty and Ray, that they both almost finishing up Donkey Kong Country Returns, as a matter of fact. So either way, so now we need to head back onto Sector 5 to able to actually come across into the forms of that familiar data room from earlier ago, from the likes of the forms of the last video or something like that. And because of that though, I think something tells me we must be able to get ourselves our next upgrade or something. Well, again, we'll just have to wait and see what happens in due time, especially concerning about the fact that I'm pretty certain that we're basically on the halfway point as well during the forms of Metroid Fusion. So yeah, we're actually getting quite close to the forms of the third quarter throughout the whole game. So exponentially, I think I'm actually doing quite well when it comes to, like, you know, trying to speed up at points. Well, not necessarily all the time though, but most of the time. So either way though, that might actually explain something else entirely. So anyways, let's head back into the forms of one of those sectors right here. So of course we need to head back to Sector 5. So, because last time we actually experienced Sector 5 is that, well, that was before with that particular boiling point that is somehow activates the self-destruction kind of thing. Or generally speaking though, again, it's been 5 days ago since I've experienced this game because, you know, been busy playing The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, you know. Oh, and while the subject for this matter though is about the fact that until tomorrow, the next tour will be up, for the sake of Mario Kart Tour is going to be up, and potentially speaking though about the fact that I'm pretty sure that both Mighty and Ray have already mentioned about that during the course of the forms of, you know, Donkey Kong Country Returns, and exponentially whenever they did manage to able to get started with the forms of, well, World 6 entirely. Like, as far as I'm aware about the fact that because they're now onto the 6th world, as I mentioned this before, that basically that is when the game it starts to get a bit more challenging and difficult, especially concerning about with the forms of some tough platforms here and there. And exponentially speaking though, I think they're both doing quite well, even though mind you, apart from a couple of level exceptions mind you, which as a result, because of the forms that instant death moments here and there with all that, you know what I mean, with the minecart segments from time to time, and you pretty much get the rest of it. So either way, then somebody tells me there's a missile tank right in there, so you have to find the forms of that particular, let's just say a hole somewhere that you can able to actually enter this little particular enclosed segment right here, so that way you can potentially try to able to get that missile tank from the get-go. So either way, now we've actually gone for that because, you know, we finally managed to able to actually activate the yellow door hatches now. So either way though, because relatively speaking though, as I mentioned this before, we've only got one colored door left, and so we can now able to actually access to other areas throughout the game, specifically with the forms of certain rooms we haven't come across into yet. So that'll be interesting when it comes to that particular fruition. So either way though, still that particular monster just somehow managed able to fly back and forth like as you can see with that particular familiar silhouette. I'm not exactly sure who's going to be in there though, but I suppose we'll find out during later time though, because either way though, because chances are that that's what I can really think about it. And also on top of all that stuff though, I believe, for those of you who lived in Poland, they've only got 10 more days to go until specifically the Super Mario Bros. Movie released on Poland will be releasing. So either way, there might be a good chance that we can able to actually see some, you know, more box office performance. So in some cases though, yeah, that'll be a discussion a later day, because now we're able to have power bombs downloaded. So because of that, all you have to do is just hold the R button, and then while you're in Morph Ball mode, and basically you simply press the bomb, and it does this very satisfying sound effect, like this whoosh sound effect, as you can definitely hear. I will say though, that still, it is without doubt one of the greatest sound departments for this game, because as far as I'm aware, it sounds super satisfying. And also it makes it a point about the fact that you can pretty much guarantee you can able to actually use the power bombs now for able to actually access to other areas. Like for instance, we can now go down here because we couldn't normally do it from before, and exponentially we can now able to actually hit back onto the forms of other areas in the game, so that way we can able to actually find even more. I think I just heard something coming creeping up towards on the right. Jeez, that was close. I almost assume about the fact that someone's gonna get me, but I get the strong sense of feeling it might be something related to, oh, I don't know, SAX or Samus Aran X or something. But chances are, though, I think we'll pretty much guarantee we're able to bump into that eventually. So, of course, we can't go to the right because that particular door hatch has been broken. So we'll just figure out another way and try to backtrack for a bit. So just to ensure that we're able to get everything in here. So, apart from a couple of exceptions though, because obviously we still need to activate the red security hatch door. So potentially speaking though about the fact that, as I mentioned this before, we only got one door hatch left. So, and something tells me there is something up there. And potentially we'll use the ice missiles from here to freeze up certain enemies as far as this is concerned, to lead us to another room. And that pretty much leads us to another power bomb tanks. So of course, about the fact that since that we keep on continuing trying to collect not only energy tanks, but also with missile tanks, and now power bomb tanks. So, exponentially speaking though, there are so many collectibles in this point. So, but exponentially speaking though, I was able to try my best able to figure out where certain spots are. So, I think for the most part we're doing quite well exponentially, even though sometimes though about the fact that with those crumbling platforms just sometimes feels a little bit obnoxious at points once in a while, but either way it might be something to get used to, I guess. Oh, and on top of all that stuff though is about the fact that I'm pretty sure we've only got about 3 more days to go until Fast X, or Fast and Furious 10 to be more specific, is going to be releasing. So either way, yeah, you see these little weird blob stuff right there? Well, that's essentially how you can use the power bombs, potentially speaking. So that way you can now able to actually destroy these things with specifically power bombs, because, well, with that particular satisfying whoosh sound effect, then basically you can now able to actually go to some sections like these. So I get the strong sense of feeling that it's going to be, yep, another power bomb tank, and this actually requires a bit of a thinking scenario, which I can assure to you we need to do something related to those ice missiles, basically, because if you fell through here, then you have to start all over again, and make sure you need to able to freeze certain enemies as platforms, so you can potentially try to able to use the Morph Ball ability while doing so, and thankfully there's no crumbling platform on that specific spot, luckily. So again, it's all about the timing as well as a bit of an angle, see? So just in case you can able to actually bypass that particular part. So either way, and make sure you jump immediately, because obviously that particular crumbling platform will lead you downwards and you have to start all over again. So yeah, there might be a lot of times that we have to do this occasionally if you really want to go for 400% completion. So, which I will say it will continue that tradition until when it gets to the point until Metroid Zero mission for the Game Boy Advance. So That probably explains it, huh? So, anyway, in terms of some things I would like to possibly try to mention, well, obviously there's not much else you can speak about, aside from the fact that, well, as I mentioned this before, we pretty much at the halfway point in terms of Metroid Fusion already, so either way though, because I can't even believe it's actually gone pretty dang fast whenever certain situations are involved. So either way though, potentially speaking, that might be saying something. So anyways, let's go down here to bypass certain enemies, so just in case we don't be able to get hit quite a number of times. And I think that's as far as we can able to explore from now on in terms of Sector 5, but of course we'll be back for that if we do manage to activate the final door hatch, in this case the red color. So for now, we're about able to continue things on here, and since that we've now got ourselves power bombs, so potentially we can able to go back onto. First of all, let me recharge my fueling part, to be more specifically when it comes to weapons and health, and also save my game, just to ensure. And I suppose we can now able to actually go into the navigation room, so just to see what's up next. So, now I get the strong sense of feeling about the fact that this work gets a bit, I don't know, strange as far as this is concerned. So, we must head back into the forms of that particular, I would say the beginning portion of the game actually. You know, where we first arrived on the forms of the biologic station lab, I think is what it says anyway. Or generally the forms of the biologic, I don't know what you call it, it's been a very long while, hasn't it? So anyway, so let's just go on to the forms of the main elevator again, and potentially we can able to actually head back in there. So either way, let's just go ahead and enjoy this little nice chilled elevator ride. Okay. Apparently we got stopped there. There's nothing we can do, aside from using morph bombs to, blast through here, I guess. So I think something tells me that particular elevator has been, I don't know, jammed? So we need to figure out the actual other methods that we can able to just, well, navigate for that certain stuff. So anyways, let's go and place the morph ball bombs, or potentially power bomb, and I have no idea where I'm going. And in fact, no matter what though, because I've almost got confused at points, but I think something tells me, do I have to like, I don't know, go down here I guess? Seems quite atmospheric when it comes to the music alone. Ice missiles don't do anything. Ah, I see, okay. And we meet up with this familiar thing again, and as it turns out, oh my god, it's a lot. Oh. It turns out it's one of those, core stuff again. So, potentially speaking, there goes the forms of that Ridley ice structure right here, so we're most able to investigate to see what really happens next for this point. So, it's gonna make sure that we have to able to avoid a lot of stuff, and potentially speaking, this is where the game starts to get a bit difficult at points. Mainly in the forms of, I would say the hardest part about this particular game for me though, is that particular next segment coming up. Especially because concerning about the fact that we have to dodge a lot of stuff. So, which you'll see why until whenever we get to the later portion of the game. So, anyways, let's blast through here by using the power bombs, and if we go through here, basically we can able to get ourselves another power bomb tank. So that way we can able to increase some more power bomb supplies. So I think relatively speaking we might able to actually continue collecting power bomb tanks. So just in case about the fact that you could potentially try to able to, you know, collect even more of those power bombs before anything else happens. So something tells me we need to use the speed boost from here, so yeah, that might be seems a little bit more self-explanatory as far as this is concerned. Let me just go ahead and oh, I didn't get enough speed for that running speed I meant to say. Do power bombs work from here? No. Oh, hello. We got ourselves the missile tanks at least, so that should be alright I guess. So either way, I guess we should probably able to continue things on I guess. So that way we can able to get into the docking base as far as that's been concerned with. So at the very least we did somehow found the alternative way to able to actually get to this point. So anyways, let's go ahead and speed things up a bit and we head back into the forms of our main ship itself. with that, not only do we able to save the game, but also it brings us into another navigation conversation right here. So, either way, it seems about the fact that the reactor core has gone offline. Ah, I see. So the meaning about the fact that we can't activate not only the elevator, but also we cannot activate the those door hatches, specifically the colored ones. So, yeah, we need to figure out a way to able to actually try to solve this particular issue. So, meaning about the fact I don't think we can probably go into one of those sectors for the time being. So, in some cases though, yeah, we do need to figure something out. Oh, those cute little critters again. All those creatures as far as I meant to say. Well, mind you, again, it's been 5 days ago since I've played this. I know I explained it so many times already, but it's just about the fact the matter is, though, is just we've been busy recently for that Tears of the Kingdom game just came out. Although, I was expecting to able to get the amiibo with it, but unfortunately, though, it all seems out of stock immediately. Especially with all that specific, you know, limited time offerings for amiibo figures and all that stuff these days, but nothing too groundbreaking to able to say that. So, anyway, so now we've actually gone into that point, and because of that, we now need to able to head over to the next point in terms of the forms of the, well, as I say, during the forms of the biologic space lab, as far as this is concerned. Then I believe something tells me we do need to, oh, okay, no need to able to deal with that particular speed boost right here, so we can essentially go through here, and we somehow get into the reactor soil, I think is what it says anyway. So either way, I think something tells me we do need to able to head down here somehow, and potentially, I think that's as far as I can say about this for the sake of topic at this point, although I was expecting to able to mention something else entirely though, but either way though, I've got nothing else to say. So either way, it seems about the fact that we all got surrounded by the forms of those very weird vine structures as far as this is concerned, and because of that though, there might be something fishiest going on in here, like generally the forms of the actual central reactor core, at least as far as this is concerned. And in fact that we can't actually save the game either, so yeah, it seems everything else is all like blackout, or potentially speaking, it's like a power cut syndrome. You know, it kind of reminds me of the forms of one of those scenarios, like for instance in Luigi's Mansion, that if you manage to able to get started with Area 4, and basically if you do manage to activate the key door, which actually represents, like, I don't know, diamond shape or something. Basically, though, is about the fact that the actual blackouts start to exist, and potentially speaking, though, about the fact that there's no way you can save the game until you get the lights back up. And on top of that, with all his very well hidden Speedy Spirits was also located in there too. Whilst in here though, all we have to do is basically we need to go from point A to point B, and basically we need to able to figure out something. So, and potentially speaking though about the fact that as you can tell, we've now on to the halfway point, as far as I realized, in terms of the forms of energy tank supplies. So, because obviously a good thing we somehow found one in that particular segment. So either way, and something tells me that particular missile tank does require a specific stuff, and something tells me we will come across into those familiar space pirates. So, potentially speaking, the space pirates is going to be the most dangerous enemies in the game, just because of all that damage output, alongside with the forms of just anything else entirely. So, well, potentially we can able to actually just decide able to kill them, but besides they all like a, X-Parasites forms of anything else like that, but either way, there we go. So that way we can get ourselves another missile tank. Oh yeah, one thing I totally forgot to mention about during the course of this entire Let's Play of Metroid Fusion so far, that when I was actually at one point, that I suffered by the forms of a lot of technical issues for the sake of the forms of my laptop at the moment. Well, nothing to do with the actual program itself, it's just that when I was about to be ready to able to get the video running and going, basically for whatever reason, the program instantly crashed, and as a result, it kicks me out of the program, which it seems kind of felt a bit inconsistent with that point, but either way though, hopefully it should be, oh wow, we can deal with these things within one-hit kills this time, so at least that's pretty cool and pretty generous at the same time, so we don't have to necessarily worry about a couple of hits worth noting for, but either way, oh jeez, what's up with those fireballs? Oh my lord, what is up with this spider creature? Or it turns out about the fact that it does have its name, by the way. And this is known as Yakuza. Yeah, kind of weird able to actually mentioning that particular boss's name. This is why the fact that the game starts to get pretty difficult in my opinion, especially because not only there is a lack of save rooms, but it's also about the fact that, well, again, if you get a game over, you have to start all over again with this entire process. So as a result, thankfully you can able to play the game on the go, potentially. So either way, all you have to do in this boss fight is about the fact that as soon as his weak spot shows up, short chance to able to actually use the super missiles or ice missiles in order to able to deal the damage of it. So as a result, if you manage to get the pattern down, it shouldn't be too bad. But then again though, this is why I get the feeling we get into the hardest part about the game in my opinion, because of not only with the lack of save points that we can't save the game so far, well assuming of course if you do able to actually access to emulator or the Wii U Virtual Console re-release, or nowadays the Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pack, then you could potentially try to able to use save states if you're having struggling with the forms of some hardest aspects about the game so far. So either way, once you do enough hits on him though, assuming of course he keeps on jumping all over the place, and as a result, he's definitely a bit tricky and tough. So definitely one of the hardest boss fights in the game in my opinion. And sure enough though, the core itself is back again, so let's grab some more health before we die, and oh jeez. Okay. Okay. This is getting obnoxious. But hopefully once you get the core itself, then you could be potentially trying to able to get some of your health back. So, well, usually for that point. So here we have ourselves the returning ability, since during the forms of not only Super Metroid, but also with the forms of Metroid 2, The Return of Samus, and that's what appears to be the space jump, which basically you have to do a well-timing jump while you're in space jump, and basically you can able to actually jump all over the place with it, assuming if you do have a good rhythm timing and all that stuff. So either way, now we got the actual power engaged, so that means the power's back up again. But the only thing about it is though, is about the fact that I'm pretty certain that we can't able to actually go ahead and, oh, we can now use save rooms and recharge rooms now. So either way, that'll be all good, especially concerning about the fact that I think something tells me with that particular, Yakuza spider boss might have something to do with that, I guess. Well, again, I'm not exactly sure about this though, because I'm pretty puzzled about this. So, anyways, let's go through here, and now we can able to hit back onto the forms of that particular, well, central reactor core, even though those vines will still exist anyway, so we definitely need able to, well, at least potentially we can now save, so thank goodness for that. And potentially speaking now about the fact that we can also use the recharge room, but I don't think there's going to be any recharge rooms anywhere so far. So we now need to do the hard method about this whole entire process, is that I think something tells me we do need able to force our way to able to go back onto that familiar sector, since in the beginning portion of the game. So, and then potentially speaking, if you do manage to able to have yourselves your charged beam while you do able to have a space jump with you, I guess you can technically able to actually kill certain enemies with no issues from here. Well, there is going to be that useful power-up in the game that will be useful once again, just like the previous Metroid games. So, but that will be for a little while. So either way, we need to go ahead and just double check on something. I'm guessing there's nothing onto that particular wall. So potentially speaking, let's head up here, and potentially we'll try to able to get rid of those vine stuff, whatever these things are. So potentially we can able to go for this little tiny hole over there. So, and exponentially though, I'm a little bit worried about the fact that I might as well get a game over at one point. Well, at least I'm hoping not. Oh, looks like we're going back to Sector 2. Kind of crazy to able to actually go back into that particular sector, since in the halfway point. Oh god! Oh god! Get away! Get away, SAX! So yeah, basically we come across to the point that we need to get chased by the forms of the SAX, because otherwise, if you get wrecked by SAX, well, basically you die, and look how much health I've got left. 9 energy left. So basically, all you have to do here is you have to hide away from the likes of the forms of Samus Aran X, because as soon as you got covered then you should be safe for now, because, well, that is definitely the hardest part about the game for me, because obviously, yeah, if you get spotted by the forms of SAX, well, just run the heck away from it. Especially, to make matters even much more devastating than that, is that the damage output is way too overpowered, so as a result, that Samus Aran X is considered to be a lot stronger compared to us. So, yeah, I was not expecting to be able to bump into her like that. Especially concerning about the fact that she stole most of our abilities, so potentially speaking though about the fact that, well, yeah, because whenever I managed to first got there, on the likes of the original Game Boy Advance cartridge version, I died a lot for that particular segment, because obviously, with all that damage output, and on top of that, it's just about the fact that sometimes that you can't able to actually have your, well, it's hard to able to get ourselves a bit of a breathing room at one point, because something tells me about the fact that, well, I just got nothing more to add, so... But regardless of such though, I do need more health though, especially concerning about the fact that I do pretty much guarantee that I'm so desperate for a recharge room for the sake of time, but unfortunately, as I said before, I don't think we can able to come across into a recharge room anytime soon, just because, well, I don't think in one of those segments for now doesn't seem to have one of them, so... Yeah, because I consider this to be one of the hardest segments in the whole game in my opinion, just because of all that. A lot of dangers involved, and pretty much everything else about the entirety of the section were about to thrash you at one form or another, so... Yeah, I can totally see how the fact that I got so much frustration of that particular part of the game anyway. But I digress. So either way, let's just see where we can able to go down here. So now we can able to blast for that particular floor right there. And I was expecting to able to grab that X-Parasite, the yellow one, but sometimes they obviously do run away at points. But that could be kind of annoying at times. But either way, and yeah, unfortunately though, most of those security doors are not activated as well. So we got able to figure out the actual method of able to actually get all of those hatches to be activated again. Because I think something tells me something is about to take over at points. So, well, exponentially, you can able to actually go ahead and go into other rooms thanks to the forms of other doors is already opened for us. Because I think we can able to instantly solve this particular issue. So, and I believe in here that I think something tells me we will come across into ourselves, well, not only certain enemies that we can able to pick up some more yellow X-Parasites, but also another power bomb tank as well. But, yeah. And also, I just realized something, is that one of those films in particular, called Quest for Camelot, or potentially speaking also known as The Magic Sword, Quest for Camelot, I believe that film has been out for 25 years old, which, despite the fact it was pretty much box office failure, so because of this though, yeah, I honestly have no idea why I somehow managed able to celebrate the film, to be honest, but that's just because about the fact that I've seen glimpses of it, but it's pretty bad. It is so bad. But anyway, let's go through here, and hopefully we're about to get rid of those specific enemies, and hopefully trying to farm as many of those, you know, yellow X-Parasites as much as I can, so just in case I can able to get even more health for the sake of time. But sometimes the actual process might take a bit while, especially because if you're almost about to die, then basically if you almost guarantee to get a game over, oh look, here's that another door monster thingy right there. But at least we got some health back at least, thanks to able to kill that particular door monster thing right there. So I don't think we can able to proceed at this point, because I think we might as well come across into yet another boss. So, 2 bosses in one video, huh? So, and this what appears to be, perhaps without a doubt, my least favorite boss in the whole game. It's most notably because of this very annoying difficulty. So as you can tell, the boss's name was Metroid, I think that's what it says anyway. So basically all you have to do is just use the ice missiles and just basically just keep shooting at this thing. And every once in a while you do need to dodge a lot of things, specifically for all these very stupid plunge projectile stuff. And on top of that, if you get onto one of those piranhas, as you can tell from the bottom of the screen, basically you do need to avoid those at all costs, because obviously it will suck the life out of you. but if you think you've done, chances are, much like any other bosses in the game, basically about the fact that there's still the actual core we need to get rid of, potentially speaking anyway, so... But again, that's as far as I can think about this for the sake of time, folks. I mean, I would have liked able to mention about other stuff worth noting for, as I said before, but potentially speaking, that'll be a discussion at a later day, because as far as I'm aware, that's, you know, I'll let both Mighty and Ray were able to both mention more about specific details during later on, during the forms of Donkey Kong Country Returns, so... Anyway, so as you can see, we've now actually access to the plasma beam. So of course, it functioned plays pretty much exactly the same as before, so relatively speaking, no, nothing different for this point. So yeah, something tells me that unlike the forms of how it does it from the likes of, well, let's just say for instance, about the fact that just like in Super Metroid, that I suppose I forgot to mention about, in terms of the beam system in this game, basically it's about the fact you can able to stack up all of those beam power-ups if you manage able to obtain them. Like, you can simply able to actually just to, like, stack them all in one catalog. While, unlike in Super Metroid, though, that basically is about the fact that you can't able to actually switch on and off when it comes to certain beam types you want to prefer. So everything else is all stacked up all in one particular spot, and as a result, there's no option to turn on and off. So, which I suppose I should probably discuss more about it, and specifically until Thursday. So with that being said, we got the endings off this point right here, so join me next time for more of Let's Play of Metroid Fusion. Is that we're going to be continuing things on in during the forms of the Sector 2, and exponentially we can able to move on to other sectors here and there. So yeah, that's as far as I can think about it. So I'll see you guys until on Thursday. Later, fellas.